Howdy healers, welcome to Zero to KSM Hero, a series where I'll be attempting the Keystone Master Challenge in patch 9.1.5 on a brand new healer. The rules are simple. For the Alliance, least favored healer, least popular covenant, only moderate help from main character allowed, no linking raid or IO to main character, hugging only, and finally the challenge must be finished before posting the first video to avoid any external help or assistance, and of course for the sake of integrity. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video! Whew. Alright, we're gonna try another 10. This is my key, a 10 Mists of Tirna Scythe. So, will this be a disaster or will this be a success? There's only one way to find out. I've assembled a team of gamers, and I wasn't super picky, but also, it's Alliance, so, what are you gonna do? Alright, looking at the healing done, this tank is nowhere near. He's not even above the Warlock or the Ret Paladin. That's maybe a bit of a concern. Warriors don't have as much self-healing as maybe other tank classes, but I've definitely had warrior tanks that did plenty of self-healing, so he's doing a little bit better on this pool. Like, he realized maybe that he needs to contribute because I can't carry him. We're having a severe lack of interrupts over here. I tried a stun, but I don't know why I bothered, because, it wasn't even close enough to the mob to do anything. I should be cocooning him, to be honest with you. But I'm already like, ugh, this is gonna suck. We did get a cocoon out. And I am, dry. I have nothing. And part of it's because, nobody is focusing on this harvester. Who's now harvesting essence, and, why? I wonder why things are so bad. Literally nobody focused the right mob. Nobody. And you could say, well, that's the tank's fault for not marking. And the tank's like, well, why did nobody kill it? Like, okay, but you should mark it. Yeah, the DPS should know, but, you should also mark it. I'm already, annoyed. Because I have, no mana. And I just, I know what's about to happen here if I'm not careful. And they're correct. The tank attacked it a little bit. But, yeah, they were the only one that was actually doing it. It doesn't matter if it's inspiring weak or not, kill it. Or at least interrupt the harvest. Yes, you should release. We're 2 seconds from the start. Okay. It's Saturday when I'm recording this voiceover, so, forgive me for my saltiness. Cats kept me up all night, running around, being cats. And, I'm a little salty, right? I'm a little tired. So, my patience right now is maybe not as good as it was here. But here's what I'm thinking now. We are 1 second into the dungeon. Why wouldn't you be able to release? We haven't done a skip at all. We're not even, 2 trash packs in yet. Yes, you can release. Why would I res you? Why would I waste my time resing you? Now, I get that everyone's like, well, you should probably ask, but it's alright, we're 2 seconds in, though. In this case, the answer should be a little obvious. Yes, you should release. We are right here. We're not, like, you're dead on the floor. You can see we're not in combat, and the rest of us released. So then, like, release. Anyway, okay, saltiness over. Well, no, my saltiness is not over, but saltiness is over for now. Here we have the Paralysis Ring of Peace skip, which I was prepared to do after I got some mana. But apparently, like, the tank was like, no, we're killing these. And I'm like, okay. Normally doesn't bother me. Like, alright, well, it's better to not skip something if the group has proved that they kind of suck. And, like, I would say this group has more than proved that. This tank self-healing is, like, literally awful. The interrupts are, we have 2 people interrupting. Like, you could tell already, I should have just left this group. I should have just left. I should have been like, you know what? You guys are awful. You guys are all terrible. Why? Like, we're not even, like, the timer's gonna run out before we even get to the first boss at this rate. That's maybe an exaggeration, but, like, I'm out of juice. Like, I have to pop a mana pot. And I have to take avoidable damage just so that, like, my tank doesn't die. Like, why is nobody interrupting that? I should have left immediately. Like, I should have just been like, no. And ran it on a 9. Like, this Grievous, man. I don't know why I did that. I was hoping, but it didn't work. The paladin helps out a little bit. Okay. Everybody just stands there. Everybody just fucking stands there. This is something that really annoys me. Like, okay, so the druid's gonna heal himself, but, like, you're telling me that you don't have food in your bags? You're telling me that 3 of these players don't have food in their bags? That's a lie. They have something. They just don't want to use it. This is where you know that I should have left. I don't know why I stayed in this group. Yeah, even the DPS were like, what the fuck, dude? I say this group can't handle it, but, like, neither can the tank. He's not doing, like, any self-healing, and he's getting, like, clapped by these trash mobs. He definitely can't handle that. Like, he got blasted. I should look this guy up to see if, like, he ever got Keystone Master. Like, let's do it while I wait. Like, because this dungeon's gonna suck. That's all I gotta say. Let's see. I'm typing him in. Let's find him. Oh, this has to be him. Season 2. Let's look. I'm just like, man. Oh, yeah, no. Okay, so this dude, I have no idea why I invited him. His score is so low. He's done, he completed 3 dungeons. Yeah. That's a yikes for me, dog. I need to get closer. And he didn't have a legendary, so that's fun. And he had no conduits. Like, I wonder why he was doing so bad. He's 230 eye level, though. And this was his best run. I just want you guys to keep that in mind. This dungeon that we're looking at right now is listed as his best run for some reason. Maybe like score-wise, but it's still pretty bad. So, yeah. Yeah, and in all of his dungeons, he has no conduits and no legendary. It's okay not to have a legendary. Like, obviously not everybody's gonna have one, but yeah, so this dude has done three dungeons in season 2 and has a score of 391.8. That's at the end of season 2, the post 9.1.5. So, whenever you're like, wow, I don't have the score, this guy got invited. I don't even know why I did. I think I was just desperate, honestly, because waiting on Alliance side can be really rough. But, like, you know right now that this dungeon is, like, we're not going to time it. Like, we could pull, like, crazy people, and we're still not going to time it. We have no capability for that. Like, nobody in this group is good. Nobody. Well, maybe the Red Paladin isn't as bad, but he's still not good because he didn't attack the right target in like the first big pool of the dungeon. That kind of says all that it needs to, right? Like, compare this to the other 10 I did and you tell me like what the differences are, right? The difference is that uh I'm I'm suffering in this run and I wasn't suffering in the other 10. Like, look at my mana. It's like Garbo. Don't get me wrong either. Like, I don't want to tank. Like, I don't want the responsibility of tanking.
You approach a powerful servant of the jailer.
But also, I feel like I'll do a better job tanking than this guy. Just 100% based off of the fact that I know that people need... Like, the healer needs mana breaks, and... Love that for me. And that I should be doing self-healing, and... I don't know, like... I should have left on maybe not the first pool, but when the second one went as bad as it did, like the second big one went as bad as it did. See, and this is what I get for trying to help my group. You know what I'm saying? Like, I deserve it. I deserve to get my ass clapped for trying to, like, break those chains. Like, I'm a shit healer. I don't have, like, god tier DPS. Alright, let's get that Stone Ward. That'll help us. I am, at this point, you know what? I'm not even going to pretend to understand my feelings at the time. My feelings right now are, this is going to suck. And also, me having to mark the tree because I don't trust my group to kill it. Usually this boss is not very healing intensive. But I still don't trust these people after the way that things went to get here. I trust them 0%. Alright. I'm kind of mad, so I'm not running into DPS, but I should have. Literally anything at this point would make this key, like, more bearable. At least the boss went down appropriately health-wise. Like, yeah, we didn't one-shot him, but it could be worse. It could always be worse. I guess I got lucky with where I got feared on that. Like, I didn't have to run through that many puddles on the ground. It was a 10,000 damage Rising Sun kick. Did you guys see that? Damn. Alright. As if... Alright, so we know this is not gonna time. We have 14 minutes left for the whole dungeon. That's 2 bosses and the maze, not to mention all the gorms. Like, we know we're not gonna time it. At this point, anybody that's still in the group is staying just to complete it. Oh, you knew that wasn't getting kicked. Like, you knew it. This is where you could say, like, everybody in this group sucks, actually.
Well fought. Now claim its power as your own.
I took my bottle. I'm getting the seed because I have this, like, feeling that we might need it. I am 100% also probably remembering that there's an inspired pull in this maze that really sucks. Like, I literally marked it, bro.
Can you find your way through the mist? Choose wisely.
It's like always the bottom path in this room, in my experience, but... And then I get rooted. But anyway, sometimes it surprises you, and this is one of those cases where this time is one of the rare incidents... Incidents? Yeah, where it's this, like, top path, actually. And because they're all fighting down there, it makes me, like, paranoid that they're gonna try to run in that way. Just because, like, most of the time it's that one. But they are at least smarter than to do that. Alright, so... I don't even know why I want this time so bad, because, like... Or why I want this, like, even completed. I don't really need the score that bad, like... Like, it's not as if we're even gonna complete it within, like, 2 minutes of the timer, right? Like, we're gonna be way over. That's... Like, just based off of where we're at right now, where we only have, like, not even 11 minutes left. Alright.
No fooling you.
I'm, like, hoping that the tank will be fine so I can, like, do the stupid maze. Since this, I do learn to just use a different color for every path. It's easier. This dungeon really has it all. People not interrupting, people standing and stuff. People getting hit by stuff. People being out of range sometimes. Tank getting his ass kicked. Tank not doing any self-healing. Mob standing in the puddle. Me crying. Alright. And we're not even done with this hellhole. Normally I don't mind the maze that much. It's like, especially in normal when I'm doing leveling dungeons, I feel like most of my time is spent like rushing to finish the maze because the mobs die so fast. Then I go in here and I'm like, these people can't even like kill the right priority target, which people in normals tend to be better about. Alright, so after this pull, like I'm prepared to like go do some more maze. This is a mistake. I think this is the bad pull. I can't remember. Yeah. If you have like really good DPS, you can blast through. So revival's useful too, by the way. Everybody got rooted, so. If I was guessing, the Ret Paladin probably had that debuff or whatever that needs to be, dispelled, but I couldn't tell because the root was on him too. We're having the same problem here that we've had before, which is we probably just need to wipe and start over. I don't even know why I'm healing at this point. Alright, so I'm rushing because, like, I want to be the one to CC this, because I probably have the most reliable CC. And then here we have the guy taking his anima power because he didn't take it before. Like, dude. Okay, that's cringe. And then somebody messes up the maze. Like, I'm already annoyed with these people because... Yeah, and the Red Paladin's getting annoyed too, but like... This is where marking the paths with different colors helps, because then people just follow the markers, and they won't run into the wrong door. At least somebody admitted that they thought it was them. Alright, so...
I'm out of range.
Yeah, like having to get to, like, pretty close just to para, but it's worth it. And the reason I communicated with the team is because I was afraid that if I, like, just ran in and tried to para it, that, like, people would be, like, all worried about, like, they would all run into or whatever. Like, the damage here is, like, intense. We have, like, one interrupt. I definitely don't have as many renewing mists up as I probably should. Just like, I'm already like, be honest with you, I'm probably in kind of a sour mood, you know? Just like a bit. Maybe more than a bit. Like, there's nothing worse in this maze where everything's already going, like, poorly, but then somebody takes the wrong path, and you're like, we've already opened the right paths. Like, how do you miss that? Alright, so we have 3 minutes left, and we're on Mistcaller. The timer will run out on this fight. I'm not looking forward to healing it, just because, like, nobody looks forward to healing this fight. But at least the tank interrupts Patty Cake. That's, like, the first step toward, I'd say toward, like, goodness or whatever, but, like, I'm annoyed, so... It's the flower. The group just running around like idiots, though. I'm trying, like, okay, let me be honest with you. I'm trying not to be annoyed, okay? I'm trying not to be annoyed, and, like, it's affecting my healing because, like, I feel annoyed. Like, I get that you don't know the fight or whatever, but, like, why do I have to mark it every time? Alright, so the tank, or not the tank, the Ret Paladin managed to stun the Vulpin. And then the druid rooted it, so we'll take it. It's the best play that I've seen in this group so far. It's the circle. I stood in that. I needed to be over, like, I went over just a little too much. And I stood in that. I'm like getting upset and frustrated, so, like, my playing is getting worse and worse. Because, like, normally the dodgeball is, like, one of the easiest things to dodge. Parrot isn't up, so I can't even use it. But I am able to Touch of Death it, which we'll take. What I learned is don't roll ever, because you will always roll further than you think you will. It's the circle. I will say when the arrows are clumped up, it can be hard for me to tell, like, where the actual arrow points are on the end, but that's fine. These are taking forever to die because I feel like people are, like, not paying attention. I say that as if it's not, like, objectively the truth. And I can't even make fun of them too much, because, like, I'm clearly at the top of the avoidable damage taken meter here. But I'm already like, timer's already over, we have 18 deaths on the board. Why am I here? I'm, like, gritting my teeth, like, oh, good, it happens! And then I roll off the cliff and I roll too far, and I'm like, I hate this key.
The Mars dark magic coalesces here. Remember this
So, Anyway, I'm like, all good, it happens! But also, I'm never gonna play with any of you ever again. I'm mostly just prioritizing, like, not standing in the swirlies. And the thing is like, this group has decent DPS. You know what I mean? Because, like, this mini-boss goes down fast.
The creature is slain. Now, claim its power as your own.
I also like to take Satchel to the hunt sometimes, but since I'm still really new to tens, I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna take the one that helps me eat because I might need it. Tank's just, like, standing there. Because he doesn't know what power he wants to take. This is the true test of wills here, alright? We got an interrupt from the Rut Paladin. No second interrupt. No second interrupt. No second interrupt. Another interrupt from the Rut Paladin. And it's like, I get it. Maybe nobody in the group cares anymore because it's not like we're going to time it anyway. But, like, I just want to get out of here now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just stick around. Like, I don't want to be here forever. The only reason that I'm going to finish it is probably so I can get some loot. Or, you know, maybe I won't get any loot, but maybe somebody will get loot. And it'll be worth our time. And we got no interrupt on Simulate Resistance, so that's cool. Probably didn't bother because, the little guy was up for a little while. Tank's calling for lock cookies, which at least means that he uses them. And the lock is paying attention because he puts them down. I'm really bad about using hellstones, like, I try to remember, but I'm not always good at it. I'm just glad I can't see, like, how far over the timer we are right now. Don't get me wrong, I don't like leading groups, but now I think I would be more likely to do it, just having done this whole challenge and seeing how long it takes to actually, like, build your score up and everything. So, like, as an example, and it's not even an example, this is just the reality, we're like a third of the way through the series. Like, this is gonna go on for a while. Because I end up doing, like, lower level dungeons, and then I end up not timing things. And then, like, but they still get completed, but because they're not timed, they don't really mean anything. Not always. Like, sometimes a high untimed key is, like, better than nothing, but sometimes it's not really any better, and I just, like, spent all that time recording, all for nothing. But I also don't want to shy away from showing, like, if you really don't have a clue what you're doing, and, like, I didn't, and you're not a very confident person, like, it can and may take a while to actually get to Keystone Master. And this is at the end of the season where, like, you know, I can get a little bit carried by like higher eye level DPS or high IO people if they just happen to want to do my key. I'd say that happens a little bit less as you get into like the 10 to 14 range, because most people aren't like that pumped about, you know, steamrolling a 10 as they are steamrolling like, you know, a 4. But still, getting my orb. And I'm drinking. So, anyway, that's like, I've learned a lot doing this series. Like, pretty much how I would approach it again would be like completely different than how I approached it here. Now, I probably wouldn't steamroll through like Growl because I don't have the skill level. And if I played a healer that I'm not as used to playing, like for example, a druid, like I'm okay at druid, but I'm not like obviously not super comfortable because I haven't been playing druid for like months or years or anything like that. At least not on a consistent basis. So, like, don't get me wrong, I love my druids. Like, what do you think the channel's named after? It's named after my speed druids. But like, um, I yeah, I don't know. Like, I would definitely zoom a little harder. Like, I would try to get into keys that were a little bit higher. And of course, if I don't get in, I don't get in. But at least then I'm not like suffering for no reason. Also, I built this group and totally was not thinking about heroism at all. And as it turns out, it doesn't matter anyway. Even if one of these people, for example, had heroism, like, one decent person with hero would not have saved this group. We are, like, crazy over the timer. But at least we haven't acquired, like, a bunch more deaths or anything. We should just take that as a win, I think. Just gonna let that go, huh? Just gonna let it go. Okay. I guess nobody cares. But it's not their key, so why should they? I mean, I care about other people's keys because time means something to me. Like, I work all day, man. I don't want to come home and waste my time after work. Which is probably what I was doing here in this video. Alright, so our beaten, sad, pathetic little group, mostly filled with carries or people that have been carried. We're gonna do our best. Got an interrupt on Infestor, so that's something. I'll take it. Mind Link. I don't like rolling out of that because it usually puts stuff like so far apart that it's awful, but you know, when you're frustrated, you do dumb stuff. This is an issue too where people like run out of range and it's like, alright, but I barely can see where you're standing. We have Mind Link again. Popped Fort Brew. Man. I'm just feeling, like, grateful that this is almost over. And the thing is, like, this final boss went okay, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't particularly painful. Alright, so I got nothing for suffering. So, like, I suffered for nothing. But it do be like that sometimes. And I got, like, a few points there, so it wasn't like it was completely worthless, but yeah, I made a mistake in this group.
Tirna's side will remember you always.
Somebody's taking pity on me. Yay, a neck. And an upgrade. So, like, alright, the group sucked, but at least they traded loot at the end. That should 100%, it doesn't, like, absolve the group of being bad, but it definitely helps me, like, not be bitter. Or as bitter, I guess you could say. So, alright, we did it. Now, I'm gonna try for another dungeon, because I love pain and suffering. Actually. No, because I have time, and while I have time to play and get dungeons in, like, I'm gonna do it, so. Got rid of my 200 for a 226. So it's helping my eye level a little. Now I'm 220 eye level, and I don't know how, like, that's gonna do in terms of getting into a group, like, how it's gonna change it, but it helps. Like, nobody wants to bring a low eye level person in, even if their score is okay. Alright, so I end up joining a +7 Spires of Ascension, which is like, maybe a little bit of a downgrade in terms of, you know what I mean, since I was just trying to do 10s. But, like, I need a little bit of a boost, you know, a serotonin boost or something. Alright, so I tried to paralyze this inspired mob, because the tank asked me to be doing that, but it doesn't work. That's okay though, things are going fine. The best part about this group is that, like, everybody is, like, having a nice time. Also, we see LS again. Our tank is a gamer, and they claim they've never played a video game before, but we all know that they're a gamer. Anyway, somebody puts out the transmog toy, or transmogrifier beacon, or whatever it's called, and so we're having fun with that. This is the first Mythic Plus that I've done where people were like, where it felt like people were having fun, you know what I mean? So that's a nice change. We have some interrupts down there. We did get a Rebellious Fist off, and that kind of sucks, but it do be like that sometimes. I let the key holder die. I think I'm still a little bit, like, shook by the last group and struggling, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna be better. We're gonna do better. My favorite thing is when they put the transmog beacon down and, like, people actually use it. That's my favorite thing, where, like, most of the group uses it. I think it's really fun. In fact, I like to use it when I farm instances and stuff. On my speed druids, I like to, you know, turn into, like, Sally Whitemane or whatever, run around. It's kind of funny. Um, I think it's a fun toy. I actually ended up buying it with gold. Like, I used gold to buy BattleNet balance and then bought the toy with it. Specifically because, like, I didn't feel like I could justify, like, the actual dollars on buying it, but, like, I could justify the gold. Alright, so things are going okay. Like, you know, I'm healing a little hard, but it's okay. We're stepping back. We have one death on the board. It's not that bad. We're gonna make it. Just like we're gonna hopefully make it through this season before season 4 hits. I don't know. We'll see. Uh, Editing these videos is, like, genuinely, like, exhausting. Alright, but you can see, like, the tank is, like, you know, waiting for me to get mana and to pair the mob. Actually, I don't even care if the Goliath dies first, I just, like, don't want people to miss interrupts. Anyway, it helps a lot, like, just being in a group of friendly people, like, yeah, there's a lot of healing, but at least they're friendly.
You cannot hide.
Sit and drink.
None shall be spared.
We have a Blood Death Knight that's actually gonna heal themselves a little bit. Alright, finally use my, like, diffuse magic a little bit.
Your doom takes flight.
This boss is just kind of mad at me. I don't think she's particularly hard. At the most, just annoying. Maybe a little bit easier for melee than ranged, in some regards, but not in every regard, just because of the stupid charged spear. When I'm healing, I guess I don't mind dodging the little bullets, but as a DPS, if you're DPSing, it sucks. I dispelled McNug because they have to stand in melee. It just seemed like the right thing to do, I don't know. Milky Moop here is like, is struggling. But it's alright, we got them. I'm running kind of low on mana, so I want to get like a little bit before I heal. I don't get a lot, but you know what, it's better than nothing. And here's the part that you should be proud of me for. Like, I did cocoon. So finally, like, I'm learning. And here's the funniest thing. Like, I've always told people, like, I'd be on the WoW subreddit, like, you know, my biggest healing advice is always like, don't hold cooldowns. But it's always easier said than done, right? Because you're always just kind of like, but what if I need that later? The thing about Cocoon is, like, it's not even that good of a cooldown, so just use it. Alright, so I'm sitting to drink. I don't get a lot in, but I get some.
Your luck has run its course.
Oops.
Listen to reason, devils. The kingdom must stand united.
So you can't say stuff like that. Like, it has to be, you never do it that way. Like,
Forsworn will forge a new path for Bastion.
like, it's okay. You know, it's okay that it happened, but like, you need to go the other way first, and then back this way. Just because if you're killing the mob right next to the Flight Angel, like, people are just assuming that that's what you're doing. And it's fine anyway, because there's mobs, like, you know, right before the last boss that we can pull. Is it ideal to kill them? Like, sometimes no, because they can do a lot of damage, but is it better than running back to the start? Yeah. Also, like, this DK's name is really cool, so, like, Rune Warden is just a good name for a DK. Wow, we got some interrupts out. Y'all see that? Also, like, I did cut out all of our, like, pre-dungeon chatter, but, like, this group was very talkative. Especially the tank here, but everybody was pretty talkative in the group. It was very awesome. Pulling this other pack wouldn't normally be a problem right now, except that there isn't inspiring in it, so... Like, yeah, it's a 7, but it's going pretty well. Sometimes you need to back off a little bit and feel good about yourself. This helped. Like, it helped my confidence. Like, okay, okay. You can have a group that's harder to heal, and it doesn't have to feel like crap, actually. Alright, we gonna take the angel over
For eons, we have been told to purify ourselves,
and drink.
to let go of our memories, our identities, our loved ones, all in the name of service. But what do we serve? An
This is definitely a case where you gotta be careful, because you don't want to, like, line of sight your healer here.
nothing.
It's working out pretty well. I probably should have drank a little bit there, just because, but... it's fine. Pulled a little bit extra here, so Yulon to help. And I'm actually, like, using Yulon correctly, so that's a first, probably. Oh, I might have done it in one of the earlier, more recent videos, but this seems like my goal was more clear cut here, where I was gonna pop Yulon and then use enveloping miss on a couple of people. Our tank's okay. He has some runic power, so like we don't want to go too crazy and like miss out on drinking just, you know, to run in and save the day when we don't need to. This is about as smooth as it gets for like a 7 key, not gonna lie. Feels pretty good. And now we can do this next pull where like we don't have to wait because I already have full mana. Anyway, while we're wandering about this dungeon, I think I'll just babble a little bit, because I really don't know how else to fill the time. And we've already done this dungeon before, and it's, like, not really that high of a difficulty. Like, even though the damage going out, it's, like, pretty substantial. I think, actually, let me just say first, like, I really miss the days where Dispel wasn't on a cooldown. I mean, yes and no. I feel like if they took Dispel off of a cooldown or put it on like a really low cooldown, like say 2 seconds or 3 seconds, then we'd have like a lot more things to dispel, like juggling dispels and like the mana cost of dispel and interrupts and all that would be a much bigger part of gameplay again. And I don't know that I really want to go that route just because I feel like it's not fun.
This is where you meet your end.
It's too far away.
All right, so they reset the boss, which is fine, which is actually great for me because I needed to drink anyway. It's not like we don't have time. It's perfectly valid. Anyway, let's talk about the good old days. Specifically the good old days of Wrath Holy Paladin or
This is where you meet your
Cataclysm Fire Mage or Miss of Pandaria Discipline Priest. Sometimes I miss the old days. Oh, I also miss Kata Survival Hunter. Was not a fan that they made it a melee spec. Don't get me wrong, I like the spec. I think it's cool. I just liked Kata Survival Hunter like so much that it feels, I don't know, it just still feels weird to me that survival is what it is now. I mean, it's good though, don't get me wrong. I have the Survival Hunter. And then you'd be like, well, Mana, what don't you have? And I'd be like, good point. I actually have like one of every ult, if not multiples. And something I recently have done is make more rogues, because rogue is one of the classes that I have like historically liked the least. No offense to McNug here. I'm sure that McNug is enjoying their class choice. I just was never a huge rogue player. I played one rogue, and that was in BC. I made an I wanted to call it outlaw, but it was combat back then. I made a combat rogue named Kaylin, and she was my only rogue for the very, very longest time. In fact, she's seen some server transfers and stuff. I enjoy her. She's good. She's since been renamed to Mary Sue. And she doesn't see active play. She just exists to like work the auction house, actually. And my reasoning for that is melee just isn't for me. You know what I'm saying? So like I like the concept of rogues, and even some of the specs are cool, like Outlaws Roll the Bones is neat, but the play just isn't for me. It just isn't for me. This pull is taking forever, and it's because we're missing our like best DPS. Anyway, yeah, I miss the good old days with some classes. I don't like the new Holy Paladin style of healing. I liked Wrath style the best. Yes, I know it was spamming Flash of Light, but I thought that was fun. It was like playing whack-a-mole constantly. I have a couple of fond memories. So yeah, I don't know. The good old days. Anyway, mostly I'm just an ultaholic. I have everything. I've tried every class, every spec of every class. I miss Frost DK being the tank spec, but also I miss playing Frost DK in Strand of the Ancients, so, like, as a DPS. So, we'll see. Anyway, again, this group is just positive and wholesome. Like, nobody's being mean to each other or whatever. We're all just vibing in this group, which I appreciate and respect. I hate this section right here just because line of sight tends to be like a thing. I'm hearing a cat like absolutely losing his mind. Oh yeah. It's the fluff. I don't know if I mentioned his tantrum box, but he has a tantrum box where if I like put him on the floor and he's not happy that he's been put on the floor, he usually runs to his tantrum box and starts shredding paper in it. That's what we call it because he does it like consistently. And it's just a cardboard box that has like, you know, the packing paper in it and he loves to shred that stuff. So, the cats like to sit in the box and they've been good with the box. So in my mind, it's fine. But it's funny because, like, whenever you put him on the ground and he doesn't like it because he wanted to sit on you or whatever, he runs to the tantrum box and just goes ham shredding paper. Like, it's peak performance. Alright. No clue what all's going on here, but... I think they're standing up there to try to, like, help somebody jump up. That's a trick that you can do. You can get on a two-seater mount. Or if you're a druid with the mount-up thing, you can do it that way. I made a bit of a mistake here by, like, running in maybe a little too early, so it's time to zoom. Anyway, this dungeon was like a breath of fresh air after the last one. Jeez. Alright, we're gonna get some more trash just for the hell of it, I guess. But also because, like, we need it, actually. It should be pretty easy. I think it'll work out. And then, oh yeah, I wasn't paying attention, so I don't even know what happened there. Okay, so they accidentally pulled some aggro with the mobs at the top of the stairs and chose to die honorably away from us all. Look at how kind and thoughtful they were. Look at that. This is true teamwork and consideration, and I appreciate it. I think we would have been okay to, like, pull the boss at this point, because, like, they're a rogue. They'll be fine. They can stealth their way back. But we also don't want to wait, like, too long to pull the boss, just because we do still have more to do, and it could be a bad time. It could be a mediocre time. We're just not sure. Yeah, oh wait, you're a rogue. Yeah. Okay, so... I'm getting Mystic Touch up immediately. Looks like we need a little bit of percent before we go up. Stack. New mount. McNug got the blast. This is easy stuff. Like, it's just a 7. Anyway, my latest thing that I've been doing is collecting, like, the battered junk boxes from Stockades. So I have, like, a level 20 rogue ready to open these lock boxes, and I have a level 60 rogue that's farming them. And I'm filling up a guild bank with these lock boxes to do, like, an opening video, I guess. I know I don't need to, because, like, who cares, I guess, but it could be fun. Nobody's here to watch, like, gold making crap, but that's, like, what I do with most of my time, actually. Alright, so we're here, this DK is a gamer because they put down AMZ, and actually everybody in this group is doing well. Alright, we still need 1%. We had a couple people take angels. So it's like, I guess we'll get it afterward. Yeah.
As I peered into Uther's memories, what I saw shook me to the core.
Alright. So we've got like 15 minutes left, and we've got 2 deaths on the counter. So we're doing pretty good. I mean, yeah, again, it's a 7, but after the last like fiasco, hell pit, terrible experience, this feels good. Like, it's a boost to the ego and the self-esteem to like not suffer for once. So I realize I'm not like I haven't eaten or like flasked, so I decided to just sit and try to eat right here. It wasn't really about flasking up for a 7, even though it doesn't matter. Either way is fine. I'm gonna imagine that our mage has like 4 children in real life or something, and they're like, "Mommy, pay attention to us," and they're like, "Oh my god, just let me finish this dungeon." But it's not working. Or like maybe, okay, so like maybe one of the kids like threw up on them and they're like, ugh, trying to catch it in like their shirt or whatever. Sometimes you just gotta make shit up to feel better about stuff. Or like they had like a really, like, let's say that their spouse brought them like an amazing sandwich and like they had to take a bite like immediately. I mean, I would have to, so I had to say these things because like you just have to have the benefit of the doubt sometimes. Like, they're not just standing there watching you fight doing nothing for no reason. Hopefully. Alright, this is going. Like, I'm feeling good. Like, there's no way we're not gonna time this one. I mean, there's always a way that it could be failed. But just judging by the way the rest of the run has gone, like, we're probably not gonna fail this one. After all, we have Milky Moop on our side. Like, what could go wrong? I do hate these angels, by the way. I hate them so much. Again, mage is like, I don't know what they're doing over there. I'm just gonna have to assume they're trying to eat that sandwich. Like, there was so much love poured into the sandwich that they can't not eat it. Or the kids are in there, like, while they're trying to eat the sandwich, asking, like, kid questions about the universe and tax evasion. I don't know. I don't know what kids do. Just cats. This was, like, a lot of damage, but it's mostly because our mage was, like, low-key AFK most of it. Let me drink! Okay.
With your spear in hand, the age I will take control of the spires and forge new
We are so close to timing this. She's still in the Christmas spirit, like double Christmas spirit even. She's feeling very Christmassy right now. Alright, we are all inside. We are all good. I do hate those stupid debuffs. I have no idea why I didn't get hit by that. I was so close. I just was. I almost guarantee that I just simply was not paying attention.
I will strike. Spires, obey my command.
Alright, so now it's time for the really fun part.
Be gone from this place.
Mortals, take up my spear.
I can use diffuse magic on myself like at any point here if I get desperate. Revival's still on cooldown because I wasted it earlier. It's time for the big guns. I still messed up with McNug there. I should have been able to save them.
Here shall pierce your heart.
We got a battle res up though.
I will strike.
I could definitely diffuse magic this off. But I wait till I can dispel it. I guess it doesn't hurt either way. If it was a high key though, like obviously I could have played better there.
Perish among the clouds.
This is definitely one of those, you know, at least one is going to appear on each side. So I should have probably assumed a position just closer to where they would appear instead of in the sitting in the center waiting to see how many went each way. Just because I have like some of the best mobility in the game. Alright, so we have Touch of Death open, and I revivaled that crap off.
I will strike you down.
And boom, she is dead.
Must be
With her little Christmas hats. So we plus 2'd that. It was 19 more points. So it was like better than nothing. I got a neck that I don't need because like I already got a neck.
Long have we believed
So I'm offering it up. My team, does anybody need this neck?
of service. And yet, the deeds of
Would anybody like a free
one
neck? Anyone?
you have my gratitude.
Like,
Once
you
the
know,
jailer lies defeated,
met by silence.
there may
Which is funny when the group was so talkative before.
discuss.
Alright, so then the guy, or the tank was like, oh, I'll take it. Boom. So that was a good group. I think that went very, very well. Like, I mean, yeah, again, it was a 7, but look, after that 10 that we just had, this seems like god tier plays right here. Alright, so looking at our bingo cards, like, actually, I don't really think anything new to the painful can be added, because even though the closest one is probably like someone in a plus 10 doesn't know mechanics, like they did seem to know the boss mechanics, just like the trash and the mists was awful. And then but for wholesome bingo, I'm gonna go ahead and give us the chatty group one, because this Spires was a very chatty group, even though I cut a lot of the chatter out, just because like I don't want to narrate over like 20 minutes of us talking before the dungeon even started. But all right, so we're going on. In the next episode, I'm gonna get into an 11, so there's that to look forward to, and like many, many more episodes to go. So, buckle up, I guess. I'll try not to burn us all out by posting too often, because I know that it can be a lot to watch one of these videos. They do get quite long, so take care of yourselves, happy healing, and I'll see y'all in the next one.